What's up, guys? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. I'm doing something different. I'm just changing my format, the way I do things, so I hope you guys enjoy this. But it's the same me, same intense, focused human being with a mind on loan from God himself. White House today they're really pumping the January 6th thing. And I think a lot of conservatives, libertarians, even-minded liberals have understood the January 6th, it was bigger than what happened. And it was more about the message and about a final push to really root out a lot of conservative ideologies and just, I guess, and some fringe things, but also just root out these Trump supporters because they hate it. And they hate it because obviously because it's the establishment and the people, and he just went against a lot of things of what America stood for. You keep hearing this over and over again with the G7 and NATO and things going on with Putin and Biden. America is back. It's finally back. And what that signifies is that the establishment, the norms, what we've been used to, the old way of doing things, going to wars, cutting down our own pipelines, but allowing Russia to do their thing, that's back. And you need to celebrate. This should be celebrated. But today, a new push from the White House is they're going at it even harder about rooting out, as they say, the new strategy to counter domestic terrorism and laser-focused violence. And you're seeing it more. We're going to go on a deep dive with this. The Biden administration on Tuesday said a new strategy to counter domestic terrorism, a series to challenge changes to elevate the federal government's response to an urgent problem. This urgent problem that January 6th, this one day that continues to happen over and over again. No. That was Antifa and the Black Lives Matter movement that destroyed cities that happened day after day after day. This is a one-day event that no one died in except for Ashley Babbitt was murdered by a cop that we don't know the name of. But apparently there's more information coming out that we might know the name of soon. But they were released. A federal agent killed an American citizen that wasn't armed. And that doesn't seem to be a problem from anyone in the news media, as they're all about the narrative rather than what's going on. That's why you see where there's mass shootings. If it's not a white guy, they don't report on it. Or just like this last weekend, 47 people shot in Chicago. 47 people shot. Not even a blink in the media. Not even an acknowledgement that this is a problem. Not even... they don't care because they're about banning assault weapons, even though assault weapons were not used. It's an urgent problem with renewed efforts to deter, detect, and prosecute those who use violence in pursuit of political aims. Very funny. I realize that they're only talking about this January 6th thing, but if they were talking about what happened all summer long, then I'd be on board for it. Just like, yeah, get rid of all the nuts. Get rid of the people going crazy. But they want to control you. They want their side to win and you to lose. The Homeland Security Secretary said, we are focused on its violence, the incitement of violence to drive to violence, the commission of violent acts. As reported, not a single gun was brought to January 6th insurrection riot worse than 9/11. There's another one coming from New York Post was reporting it on as well. Not every news source was reporting on it. A lot of them were, though. White House calls the Capitol riot a terrorist attack and endorses extremist internet purge. That's right. And they want to use this as a ploy to spy on you, a ploy to gain more information on you because they see you as a threat, even though you're not threatening in any way, in any capacity. And you're not, January 6th was one day. Again, it was one day, one action. Doesn't seem planned at all. It just seemed crazy. Yes, and also, as I always have to say, if you committed a crime, you should be charged for that crime. But as you're seeing Putin even step out against, like, hey, I think I heard that Ashley Babbitt was killed by one of your own. Like, even he is catching on to the idiocies of what's going on in the world. New York Post wrote, the White House on Tuesday released a report that designates the January 6th Capitol riot as a domestic terrorist attack and endorses an internet purge of extremist content. You know you're living in a good society, a good time of your life, that you're most free and most welcome and most loved people group when this is seen as a terrorist attack. I'm sure there are many people in the Middle East that would beg to differ, say, that is not an attack. What? That wasn't violent. I don't. The description is likely to draw stiff disagreement from allies from former President Donald Trump, who say that the riot, which disrupted the certification of President Biden's victory, has been used to felicitate political censorship. And of course it has. Just like the Wuhan lab leak theory, just like COVID-19, everything was politically driven with political censorship because they're in control of big tech is liberal. So they want only their ideologies or what they deem as safe or information, as opposed to just allowing, information to be information and then letting the American people decide what's truth and not based on what has more evidence. The Biden administration report also calls for beefed up cooperation between the feds and private internet companies that instructs the Justice Department to review whether to request a new anti-domestic terrorism. They are not going to let this go. And I'm almost bored of reporting on it, but at the same time, we have to understand that there's a reason. Even though you look at the events, you say that was a terrible day, there were some horrible things, a lot of horrible stuff happened. But then you look in that in comparison to all summer long, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are we still talking about it? Because they want to prove a point. The Capitol riot, I love this sentence. The Capitol riot is described as an example of domestic terrorism alongside the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. That is a domestic terrorist attack. Yes, which killed an estimated 75 to 300 people. 75, even at the lowest estimate, 75, that is a domestic terrorist attack. That is insane. That is horrible. That is what racism looks like. That is what bigots look like. That is terrible. I hate that they're trying to draw a comparison between the two because there isn't one. It's like when the teachers union sat in Wisconsin state capitol and they just sat on the floor and disrupted the whole thing. That was seen as awesome. Oh, incredible. Not an insurrection destroying what America stands for. This also includes the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, which killed 168 people. That was a terrible attack. I went to the museum, which if you've ever been to Oklahoma City, you should go to that little history museum where they talk about this domestic terrorist attack and everything that happened and how the stories unfolded and stuff like that. That is a horrible attack. The logic in you thinks this shouldn't be taken, this is not that serious, or that this is serious, but we should move on. We should go on because it's not continuously happening. There's not new factions rising. There's not more protests and riots. So if the January 6th riot happened and then after that, lots of little factions across the country continue to do uprising, continue to destroy, like Antifa and Black Lives Matter did all summer long. If that happened, then that should be seen as domestic terrorism. That should be seen as a threat. That should be seen as something potentially to investigate. Why? So it doesn't continue to grow and get stronger and then something stupid happens. But it's not. It was one day and then it just stopped. It's done. Domestic terrorist attacks in the United States have been committed frequently by the opposing our government institutions. In 1995, the largest single act of domestic terrorism in United States history, an anti-government violent extremist detonated a bomb at the federal building in Oklahoma City, killing 168 people and 19 children and injuring hundreds of others. Yes, that is a terrible, terrible attack. But they're going to continue to push this. And you need to just know that they see this as serious. I mean, I looked up CNN and MSNBC to see what they're reporting on, and they're still reporting on this, and they're still reporting on Trump. And then their major story for the day was Majorie Taylor Greene visits Holocaust Museum and is regretting her comment saying that masks are the same thing as what the Jews had to go through, or whatever crap that their headline was. And I was reading the story, and you're like, how is this a story? Who cares? We're not going to talk about Chuck Schumer saying the R word, are we? No, we're not. And here's another story from Daily Mail as they talked about it, calling it a terrorist attack. And I love that the Pentagon anti-radicalization to stop the lethal rise of white supremacy in the military. You know, like that's like a huge problem. It's not getting people in the military and getting people to believe what they are doing and getting people to support America and serve their country. It's that white supremacy is the big issue. And pushes to purge the internet of extremist content. And they're not talking about actual extremist content. They just aren't. And you know they aren't. They're talking about anybody that posts a Trump video. Anybody that posts maybe a statement from the desk of Donald Trump. They're talking about those people. And they see that as a threat. And why they see it as a threat? Because it's a different political ideology. It's a different Republican, conservative, libertarian. They don't like that. It's against what they're trying to do, and what they're ultimately trying to do is push these Marxist ideologies down your throat. And they don't like that. They want to push the critical race theory. They like segregation. They want a race or a population of people to crush. And right now, instead of what it once was seeing a race as weaker, they're looking at a race as too strong that's oppressing people. It's literally what the Nazis did to the Jews. As we see, like, look at this from Daily Wire right here. Virginia Democrat candidate McGoffel says critical race theory is right-wing conspiracy totally made up by Trump. And this is the push now. They're losing on critical race theory. They're losing on the fight that critical race theory is racist, because at its root, it's racist. You're looking at somebody and you're judging them based on their race, nothing to do with their actual character or who they are on the inside, or any kind of background or, social economic class, or maybe what job they, all these factors that make up a person. Critical race theory just looks at, are you oppressor or are you oppressed? Either way, it's racist. Even if you look at somebody who's oppressed and say, hey, I just want you to know you're oppressed by me, despite not ever feeling you're oppressed by me and never ever knowing me, and you make more money than me and have a better living situation, better 401k, you can pay for your kids to go to college and stuff like that. Despite all that, I'm the oppressor, no matter what. Either way is incredibly racist and incredibly harmful and hurtful to humankind, and doesn't help us unify and doesn't help us grow together. They want unification through bending the knee and through submission. And that never ends well. It just doesn't. If you want to unify people, you do it through redemption and forgiveness, not through bending the knee. And they see bending the knee as almost forgiveness, as reparation or whatever they call it. But this is a new ploy. Audio obtained by Fox News revealed a woman asking McAuliffe, "I'm just wondering, with all the Republicans talking about critical race theory, and they're making up this huge deal about it, and it's all about conversation with the news in Virginia, what are you going to say to those people making education about that?" McAuliffe responded, "That's right-wing conspiracy." Don't you love that critical race theory is a white-wing conspiracy? White-wing. Said that 10 times fast. This is what happens when you have an ideology or a thought that they can't argue against, and they don't know how to argue against because it is racist at its foundation. So they'll write it off saying, this is conspiracy. This is racist. Like the whole Elon Omar saying that, America is very close to Hamas and stuff like that. And she was like reprimanded about it. And even Nancy Pelosi was speaking out against it. But, any kind of critique on the squad or AOC, it's seen as racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever phobia that they can muster up. They'll put it down because they don't want to discuss actual ideas, because when they do, they don't know what they're talking about, and B, they want to shut down the conversation, because if conversation happens, people will realize how racist they are. That's why I like freedom of speech. That's why I think everyone should be allowed on Twitter. Everyone should be allowed on Facebook, because the real actual racists will be out for full display, and people could be like, wow, look at this racist twat talking. Look at him, or her go. This person is racist. This person is unbelievable. I can't believe this person said that, as opposed to just canceling them and then they stay racist. Or people don't know, like, is Louis Farrakhan a real racist? I'm not sure, because no one reports on this person because they feel like they're not allowed to. Or is Alex Jones a real conspiracy theorist? I don't know, because he's not allowed on there anymore. Remember Milo Yiannopoulos, who said that one thing and then all of a sudden he was completely banned from society? You're not allowed redemption. You're not allowed to change your opinion. You're not allowed to do these things. And if you critique their platform, their ideology, you're seen as a right-wing conspiracist. This is who they are. It's a conspiracy theory. Remember Wuhan Lab Link? Conspiracy theory? That's racist. This is their new ploy. Is to push critical race theory as a conspiracy theory. And you'd say, hey, Daily Wire, that's it? This is NBC News. Critical race theory battle invades school boards with help from conservative groups. And towns nationwide, well-connected conservative activists and Fox News. Don't you love that they just put in Fox News like they're the only conservative outlet? There's a lot of us out there talking it up. They just don't know how to use YouTube or know how to actually look up podcasts and stuff like that. They can see independent people like myself as credible in any capacity, even though I do this because I'm here to fight against something and promote, promote unity, promote growth, promote equality, promote loving your neighbor as better than yourself. I'm here to promote that anyone should be able to get a job or do whatever if they work hard enough. Like these things, but this is their new ploy as liberals are saying, hey, look at all these conservatives attacking these school board representatives. They're attacking them. I like this. A booby trap billboard, a list of demands, a conservative media frenzy. God. These people are insane. They call you a conspiracy theorist, but they are just propaganda. They're literally, Russia and China just listens to the liberal media and they're like, we love what you guys are doing. You guys are crazy. Yeah, keep separating. Jeff Porter, a superintendent, a wealthy suburban school district in Maine, had no idea his community was about to become part of a nationwide battle. In the summer of 2020, a father began accusing the district of trying to indoctrinate his children by teaching critical race theory. Oh my gosh, it's indoctrination, as Obama just says, hey, it's just, remembering that we had a really bad past and we had slaves in our past. Remember that? That's critical race theory. Toe Porter issued straightforward, the district announced white supremacy in the wake of George Floyd's murder by police. And again, was that a racially motivated act? There is no evidence of that, but it's seen as that because it fits the narrative. But did not teach critical race theory, academic study of racist, critical race theory, an academic study of racism's pervasive impact. Is that what it is? Sure. Sean McBride grew increasingly disgruntled as soon connected the no left turn in education, a rapidly growing nationwide group that supports parents as they fight against lessons on systematic racism. Yes. Why are these racist white parents hating anti-racist? Oh, wait, there's black people talking out against it and Asians? Oh, crap. That action turned to a heated conflict with the school board went into a soon draw national attention to mobilize a new, increasingly coordinated and motivated with the backing of a major conservative organization and media outlets. Anytime they see a group of conservatives, they put it on Fox News, they see it as radicals, they see it as conspiracy theorists. Remember those people who protested the lockdowns, protested masks and all that stuff? They see you as conspiracy theorists, and then they put Fox News as the problem. They all want to, they continue to see you as the problem, and they continue to see what your actions, they want you to shut your mouth. They want you to stay quiet. They want you not to fight back on this. They want you to say, hey, they want the narrative to be pushed that critical race theory is conspiracy. And it's not actually happening. We're just, as Obama says, we're just, in that interview with Anderson Cooper, we're just remembering we have a bad past, and we're coming to grips with that. And all these white people are just mad because they have to finally face up to their sins of their past. Not what critical race theory is. Critical race theory is happening now. It's a living entity, and it's moving and growing in a sense where it started small, and now it's getting larger and larger as corporations adopt it. That, you even see Lockheed Martin, that kills people for a living. They have to go through anti-whiteness training. This is a real thing. And they think they want to push January 6th as a real domestic terrorist attack, and they want to make critical race theory not real, but a conspiracy. Propaganda is real, and propaganda is being pushed. I say this over and over again. I feel like the media should be liable of what they did to us all year long, tightening us up, making us all insane this last year with Trump stuff, with COVID-19 stuff, Wuhan lab leak. And what they push, they are not journalists, they are activists, and they continue to push that. I am not an activist. I just want to get down to the truth, and when I see BS, I'm going to call it out, and I hope you do the same. But these people are a real problem, and you need to know going into a lot of articles that what is being pushed. And you need to also, I'm changing the way I do stuff, where I'm going to talk more about the liberal side, because I feel like there's a lot of conservatives that are just saying, AOC said this, what an idiot. I want to actually go in and see what they're talking about and tell you why they're talking about it, because I think that's more important to engage in conversation. Because I want to engage in conversation. I don't want to just ban people. I don't want to just shut down people. I don't want to see them as hate speech. I don't want to see them as misinformation. I don't want to see them as conspiracy theorists. I just want to engage in a conversation, because maybe, just maybe, they're right. And maybe I'm wrong. And I think that kind of philosophy, that kind of idea should be pushed. Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right, but it's important to get down to the facts. And it's important to be armed in information the minute you grasp information, like a lot of conservatives are finally understanding what critical race theory is. A lot of them aren't like me, who just recently went through a master's course in multiculturalism, and all of this stuff was pushed down my throat. And I'm very fresh on critical race theory, and pretended, and I fought back in a lot of my posts, and I was scared that I was going to get banned, but I didn't, because I came at it in an educated push in a way of showing empathy. And I think that's how we should be as conservatives, libertarians, or just like-minded liberals who just want the best for us as a society. But I just want you to know, this is the new push. It's important to be armed in information. Know, if you have liberal friends, this is what they are still talking about. They see you as a threat. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Derek O'Shea Show today. I hope you guys have a fan-freaking-tastic day. And as always, I will see you on the next episode of... Wait, I never did Today in History. I think it's important to do Today in History. I never even looked it up. I apologize. We're going to look it up right now. This is live. June 15. King John puts steel on Magna Carta. Very cool. Following a revolt by the English nobility against the rule, King John puts his royal seal on Magna Carta, or Great Carta. The document, essentially a peace treaty between John and his barons guaranteed the king would respect feudal rights and privileges, uphold the freedom of the church. That's funny. You shut down those churches and maintain the national laws. Although a reactionary, then a progressive document in his day, the Magna Carta was seen as a cornerstone in the development of the democratic, I was like democratic England by later generations. There you go. You're welcome. Guys, have a fantastic day. I appreciate you guys for joining. Please share this with all your friends and family. Also, we're doing another live show tonight. My internet just totally just went out last night. It just kept going out. So we're doing it again. We're trying to round deuce tonight. Check out the show, the Miss MISS information show, because I tried it as just misinformation show, and YouTube didn't like that. Okay, thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic day. As always, I'll see you on the next episode of The Derek O Show.